Hello, I'm Kate Boyd, Head of Digital Collections at the University of South Carolina, which is home to the SIMS Initiative, a digital humanities project of the university libraries. It is funded in part with a generous grant from the Watson Brown Foundation. In celebration of Halloween and to promote our site, we are reading one of SIMS' ghost stories throughout the month of October. The story is called Grayling, or Murder Will Out, and is a part of the author's short story collection, The Wigwam and the Cabin. At this point in the story, Major Spencer and the Grayling clan have become increasingly suspicious of the Scotchman McNabb. As the night settles in, James and Joel Sparkman have made arrangement to share the watch. Here now is part 7 of William Gilmore Simms' Grayling, or Murder Will Out. The arrangements of the party were soon made. Spencer renewed his offer at the fire to take his part on the watch, and the Scotchman McNabb volunteered his services also. But the offer of the latter was another reason why that of the former should be declined. Sparkman was resolute to have everything his own way, and while James Grayling went out upon his lonely rounds, he busied himself in cutting bushes and making a sort of tent for the use of his late commander. Mrs. Grayling and Lucy slept in a wagon. The Scotchman stretched himself with little effort before the fire, while Joel Sparkman, wrapping himself up in his cloak, crouched under the wagon body with his back resting partly against one of the wheels. From time to time he rose and thrust additional brands into the fire, looked up at the night and round upon the little encampment, then sunk back to his perch and stole a few moments at intervals of uneasy sleep. The first 2 hours of the watch were over, and James Grayling was relieved. The youth, however, felt in no mood for sleep, and taking his seat by the fire, he drew from his pocket a little volume of easy reading lessons. And by the fitful flame of the resinous light wood, he prepared in this rude manner to make up for the precious time which his youth had lost of its legitimate employments in the stirring events of the preceding 7 years consumed in war. He was surprised at this employment by his late commander, who, himself sleepless, now emerged from the bushes and joined Grayling at the fire. The youth had been rather a favorite with Spencer. They had both reared in the same neighborhood, and the first military achievements of James had taken place under the eye and had met the approbation of his officer. The difference of their ages was just such as to permit of the warm attachment of the lad without diminishing any of the reverence which should be felt by the inferior. Grayling was not more than 17, and Spencer was perhaps 34, the very prime of manhood. They sat by the fire and talked of old times and told old stories with the hearty glee and good nature of the young. Their mutual inquiries led to the revelation of their several objects in pursuing the present journey. Those of James Grayling were scarcely indeed to be considered his own. They were plans and purposes of his uncle, and it does not concern this narrative that we should know more of their nature than has already been revealed. But whatever they were as freely unfolded to his hearer as if the parties had been brothers, and Spencer was quite as frank in his revelations as his companion. He too was on his way to Charleston, from whence he was to take passage for England. This has been part 7 of William Gilmore Simms' Grayling, or Murder Will Out. I hope you will tune in next time for another section of this ghostly tale. If you would like to read the full text of this story, or any of the many other works we have available, simply visit the SIMS Initiative's website at simms.library.sc.edu. Until then, happy Halloween.